481,544 people left New York just last year. That's enough to pack MetLife Stadium all the way to the brim 6 times. And the question is, should you leave New York too? Because after the pandemic, everyone left New York. The city changed. It's never going to be the same. And people are leaving faster than anyone ever even imagined possible. People are packing up, they're selling everything they own, and they're moving out. But why? Life is becoming unbearable for most people, for many people. The cost of living is insane, even if you're making 6 figures or even multiple 6 figures. It feels like you're just scraping by. Rent keeps climbing, taxes are through the roof, and utilities. During the winter, you're spending as much on your electric and gas or oil bill alone compared to somebody's mortgage payment, entire mortgage payment in many other states. It feels like you're working nonstop just to stay broke and not even get ahead. And even if you do somehow make it work, the stress doesn't stop there. Quality life is non-existent and getting worse by the day. So crowded, it's so noisy and dirty. The traffic's relentless and also getting worse somehow. Some neighborhoods feel like they've been completely abandoned after the pandemic, with stores that just never reopened. It's overwhelming. And for families or retirees on a budget, it's even harder. Daycare costs thousands of dollars every month. Schools are decent, but with taxes so high, you could send your kids to private school in other states and still save money. For retirees, you'll watch your life savings get taxed to death, and the fast-paced lifestyle and rude people just make it harder to enjoy your golden years. But on top of all of it, it doesn't feel safe anymore. Even the subways don't feel safe in broad daylight. At night, forget it. And my friends that haven't left yet get Ubers just to avoid the risk. Transit crimes are up, violent crime is up. One of my friends got chased down by a gang in broad daylight, barely made it away on his e-bike, and when he went to the police, they did literally nothing about it. And God forbid that you're navigating all of this with kids in the middle of it too. How can you enjoy life while you're constantly having to look over your shoulder? So it's no wonder that people are leaving, but where are they going? Literally anywhere else. Florida, Jersey, PA, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, literally anywhere else. The list keeps going. But what do these places offer that New York City doesn't, other than basic safety? Well, first, the cost of living is so much cheaper. New York City is notoriously expensive, but I found that most New Yorkers don't understand how much more expensive it is compared to the rest of the country, because in every other state, your basic expenses, like groceries and utilities, are lower, but the rent and home prices are a tiny fraction of what they are anywhere in or near the city. But it's not just about cutting costs, it's also about what you get for the price. In many of these states, you aren't crammed into a tiny apartment. Instead, you could have a home with a backyard, with a garage, even some land. For example, even after the housing market has crashed and prices have come down a ton in the city, here's a condo in Queens or a home in Brooklyn versus a condo in Charlotte, for example, or a typical home in the suburbs. It's a whole different world. But money isn't about everything. What about other aspects of life? Your quality of life is really important too, and many of these states offer calmer, tree-lined neighborhoods and a slower pace, like the Carolinas and part of PA. Or if you still crave some of that urban energy, but you want less chaos, cities like Austin, Texas, or certain spots in California can definitely fit the bill. And overall, it's just easier to relax when you're not surrounded by constant crowds, noise, and dirty, rat-infested areas. But beyond saving money or finding peace, if feeling safe is what's driving you away from the city, every state has its rough spots, of course, but there's plenty of urban and suburban areas in places like Florida, Texas, the Carolinas, and Jersey that are gonna feel a lot safer. Well, I mean, maybe not Jersey quite as much, but especially for urban areas, a lot of New Yorkers traditionally have moved away to Philly, but a couple of my favorites that have really flown under the radar until recently are Pittsburgh and Charlotte. They're super underrated cities that everyone is just beginning to discover. So we've discovered safety, but what about the weather? Because if you want to escape all the freezing winters in New York, you could head all the way south to Florida for year-round sunshine. You just got to be ready for some of the insane summer heat and hurricane season. But if you want more of a middle ground, the Carolinas offer wonderful mild winters and milder summers that don't get extremely hot. or extremely cold. That's why we're known as the Goldilocks state, because it's a very temperate area. PA and Jersey also give you all 4 seasons, but they're generally at least a little bit less intense than New York. And weather is important, but so is feeling connected to your community and having good schools. So if that's what you're looking for, places like North and South Carolina, people are so friendly. Everyone I know waves to their neighbors and will chat a bit if you see them outside, which can make, it can take a little bit of getting used to coming from New York, but everyone's so genuinely friendly, which is such a nice change of pace when you're coming from the city. As for schools, New York has some wonderful schools, I will admit, but states like North Carolina and Texas also boast some of the top rated school districts around, and also give you much more affordable private or charter school options, which helps, if you care deeply about education, if it's really important to you. But what if you are aiming to retire? If you want to retire, states like Florida and South Carolina are very popular with retirees, both because of the slower pace, but also the lower taxes and warm, moderate climates. Now, if you want to stay near New York City, Jersey is going to keep you close, but still offers more space and a suburban lifestyle. Taxes are a little bit better, but still relatively high there. And with so many options, where should you move? So depending on what you value most, different areas are going to make more sense for you. Different states are going to make more sense for you. But depending on what you want, you can absolutely find a better spot that has everything you want. Florida's going to be a great option if you want that year-round sunshine and don't mind super, super hot summers and the hurricane risks. Jersey could be a good choice if you want to stay close to New York or Philly, despite the higher taxes. And PA, for a balance of lower costs and the distinct 4 seasons, could also be a great choice. Now, California is going to give you those West Coast vibes. Depending on the New Yorker, some people love it, some people hate it. And if you're in the actual cities, it's going to also be pretty pricey, but the lifestyle is still a wonderful change if that's what you're looking for. Texas has a booming job market and no state income tax, but be ready for hot summers and ice storms, and the cost of living has also gone up a lot because of so many New Yorkers and Californians that have moved there. The Carolinas have milder weather, friendly communities, plenty of nature, and easy transportation. But here's the thing. If you want the perfect mix of affordability and strong job growth and a balanced lifestyle, I think that Charlotte in North Carolina stands out above the rest. And the reason I chose to move here is because of the vibrant neighborhoods, spacious homes, and welcoming community, and you get all that without breaking the bank. But if you want to leave New York and you aren't sure where in the US you want to move, I made a free quiz to help you find the cities in the US that are best gonna match what you want. You can scan or click to take the quiz now. And if you are curious about Charlotte and you want to know my experience moving here and the 5 regrets that New Yorkers have after they leave New York, watch this video here.